Okay, let's talk about Philly. Two things. Number one, there's a sponsor in this video. Number two, this is actually the second time that I've said this is the best chance the Sixers have. I did it 2 years ago. They had James Harden. Some things have happened then. Kudos to them. They've got another real chance at it. And I'm not saying that this is their only chance of winning a title with Paul George and their team, but I do think it's their best chance because this is the best Paul George they're going to get, even if we can assume that Maxey is going to keep on getting better. I'm not going to beat you over the head with the Embiid, Paul George need to stay healthy stuff. We all know they do. So let's talk about the rest of it. And hopefully I'm not repeating too many things that I said from when they signed PG. Basically, we all understand the partnership of Maxey, Embiid, and PG should fit in really well, right? The Maxey, Embiid two-man game, it's more dynamic than the Harden, Embiid one, because that one was a lot of pick and roll up top. It was effective, but with Maxey, there's more DHOs. There's more like Maxey sprinting to the ball for the DHO. There's more of like Embiid just dribbling the ball just kind of behind him, and Maxey catches it in stride, and then he's gone. And PG's catch and shoot, catch and drive game off of that should be really good. And I think it's fair to expect PG to have a decent pick and roll game with Joel as well. Like, yeah, PG doesn't move the way that Maxey moves, but he can certainly run a screen action. And all three of these guys can make tough shots. Joel's still going to go crazy. As far as shooting, Maxey, PG, both very good. Eric Gordon's getting up there in age, but he can still make a shot. Caleb Martin has been just solid, and of course he becomes Ray Allen when he's facing the Celtics. Oubre's regular season three-point shooting has been blah, but he was better from three in the playoffs for them. Jared McCain is a good shooter, but we just have to see him do it in the NBA first. Lowry can still shoot. And then defensively, I mean, there's a lot of switchability between PG, Oubre, and Caleb Martin. Lowry's still tough. Joel protecting the middle. We all like Nick Nurse. Drummond, good backup center. Team's good. They do also have some tradable smaller contracts. Anyway, all that's cool. How do they match up with the other top teams in the East for a playoff series? I'm kind of skipping the regular season here because I'm assuming Philly's going to win 50-something games, injuries depending. And so the number one question you got to ask for any of these teams in the East is how do you match up against the Celtics and, excuse me, NBA champion Boston Celtics? Well, unfortunately, we only really got 2 games this past season of the Celtics versus Embiid. They played the Sixers 4 times, duh. But against Embiid, it was only 2 games, and it was also early in the season. Regardless, there is some interesting matchup stuff there, where in the first game, the Celtics had Drew guarding Embiid, and then they would like switch screens. He would pressure Embiid if Embiid had the ball in the perimeter or if he's facing up, and then in the post, they would double, and Porzingis would be the help guy. And then when Horford is in the game, he just guards Embiid, and it was more Horford on him in the second game because Porzingis was not playing. We will see how healthy Porzingis is for the Celtics, especially come playoff time next season. Not just to be that help guy, but also because he can stretch out Embiid on the other end, right? I mean, Horford, like, yeah, Embiid has to care about Horford, but it's not to the degree you have to care about Porzingis. And then the wing situation would be interesting. I mean, look, do I think Caleb Martin, PG, and Kelly Oubre would have a chance of, like, really slowing down Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? No, but at least you can switch 2 through 4, and you've got length at all those positions. So if the Celtics want to get into some, like, you know, Tatum screening for Derek White, or Jaylen using an off-ball screen to get open, you're giving yourself like more of a chance to guard that stuff than teams that just have no shot at all, right? Anytime Horford gets to guard Embiid in the post, it's always fun. And for all that being said, maybe the biggest matchup in a series like that would just be, like if it's Derek White on Maxey, just what does that look like in 1v1s and Derek White fighting around screens and all that stuff. So yeah, Celtics-Sixers playoff games would be cool. Speaking of games, you gotta wait a little while to go to NBA games, but the NFL season is right around the corner. And if you're looking to see your favorite team in person this season, they're probably better than my Patriots, then you can use SeatGeek and you can use my code FUNKY10, it's all one word, F-U-N-K-Y, the number 10, 10, to get 10% off any tickets on SeatGeek, whether you're a new customer or not, and you can use it for concerts, sports, festivals, you name it. SeatGeek rates deals on a scale of 1 to 10, look for the green dots, green means good, red means bad. So once again, you can use the SeatGeek app on your phone, add FUNKY10 to your account, and you want to do it fast because the offer is available for a limited time. You can find my link to the app in the description as well as the pinned comment of this video. Personally, I have used SeatGeek for many Red Sox and Celtics games throughout my life, and it's always been a good experience. Again, FUNKY10, SeatGeek app, 10% off, pinned comment as well as the description. Okay, how does Philly match up against the Knicks? Well, first off, Mitch being healthy is huge because we saw in that round 1 series that was wild that when Mitch was able to get minutes on Embiid, he did a pretty damn good job just guarding him one-on-one. And both Joel and Mitch were recovering from injuries. Joel was also dealing with Bell's palsy in that round 1. As far as the Sixers guarding Brunson, I mean, series went on, Brunson eventually just went superhuman mode. But I did think Oubre was fighting pretty hard when he had to guard him on screens and everything. It's just Brunson he was just unstoppable. Batum also had possessions on him. He's gone. PG as well as Martin are here now, two lengthy defenders that you can put on him. Granted, you're not going to want PG doing like all the guard opposing team's best player stuff all the time because dude's like 34. Speaking of wing defense, obviously OG and McHale are two of the best wing defenders you could ask for, and either one of them is going to be on PG a lot. Or Maxey for that matter. And hell, if you want to try like OG on Embiid, like that's an option. But Philly would also have to prove, as anybody will have to prove when they face the Knicks, that they will have to be ready for just the barrage of like crazy hustle plays and offensive rebounds, especially if Mitch is healthy and Josh Hart. And just to remember, Maxey in that round 1 matchup, and since then they've both picked up either Paul George or Mikal Bridges. But anyway, Maxey in that series, he averaged 30 and 7, also 5 rebounds, shout out to him, on 60 true shooting. So it'd be a really good time. Julius Randle, tough shot making, possibly the swing of the whole thing. And yes, Hart not being there still has to matter, even if I do love that Knicks team. Okay, if we think about the Sixers and the Bucks, I will do my spiel I do every single time. Kind of crazy we haven't gotten a playoff matchup yet. I really want to see Giannis driving at the rim a million times with Embiid waiting for him. Partially because the possible matchup for the Sixers is just to put Embiid on Giannis, and then to have a wing on Brook. And if they work to do that, then we get into the whole, well, if Dame and Giannis do the pick and roll, how high up is Embiid on the screen? Because Embiid can get up there. But then we go into the whole Dame Giannis pick and roll conversation. That's not the point of this video. I already did that one like 2 weeks ago. You could just put Embiid on Brook and just forget everything I just said. The other thing would be if the Bucks have enough perimeter defense to guard Maxey as well as PG like that. Because Middleton doesn't move like he used to. Taurean Prince is cool, but he's not going to change your life. DeLon Wright is a damn good perimeter defender. Of course, Giannis is best as a help guy. I will say what I said in the Bucks vid from not long ago. Brook does a better job than a lot of guys do on Embiid. Embiid has still had some big games against him, but Brook has guarded him really well in some matchups as well. And then as far as Dame, Philly, like the one common theme with Philly is that they will have length to put on opposing guards, whether it's Dame, whether it's the Celtics backcourt, whether it's, Halliburton, if they see them in a playoff series, the Pacers, similar thing with Cleveland, Garland and Mitchell. As far as the like really tough on-ball defender, specifically as a guard for like the like-sized like 6'2", 6'3" matchups, Lowry can still give you some of that energy, but of course he's just not going to be able to do it like he was years ago. And then besides that, Jared McCain, people talk about his team defense being farther ahead than his one-on-one defense. So I don't know. If we can think about Philly versus the other teams in the East, where, yeah, they would be favored in all of these matchups, I imagine, but you still got to win the thing. With the Pacers, it's like, for one, Philly would have to be on their best behavior when it comes to transition defense because, you just want to look at the NBA.com numbers, 13th percentile of transition defense in the playoffs, 48th percentile in the regular season. Not great numbers. Any transition defense problems could lead to the Pacers just making your life hell. They would have the switchability and length versus Halliburton. They could also go with Joel on Siakam and then do the wing on Miles Turner. You could put Joel on Turner as well. The Pacers could tell themselves that between Nesmith and Nembhard, they've got two good defenders for Maxey and PG. And Pacers, with their style of play, with playing really fast, with just Halliburton's amazing playmaking and all the pick and rolls and all the little quick screen actions they run with any of their guys for Halliburton, on top of Miles spacing the floor out at center. I do think that if you're not ready to deal with that, they can beat you even if you might have a better roster, in my opinion, from top to bottom. Also, it's kind of wild that the Pacers under Halliburton made the conference finals before the Sixers did under Joel Embiid. You can apply whatever context you want to that, but it's still wild it happened. Cavs, I think it'd be cool to see Embiid versus Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, that front court. I imagine it's Allen guarding him, it's Mobley helping. And maybe this is me being too optimistic about Philly's fit, but I do think just the Embiid, PG, Maxey fit on offense just probably is more natural than the Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, Allen thing that it's been so far. Even if those four together have been good, but the offense has not gotten to that crazy level. But if you want to say, well, a healthy season, yeah, maybe. And for everything I just said, some of that just goes out the window if Donovan Mitchell starts dropping 35-point games on you. We'll never forget about Miami and this whole thing. Look, regardless of what happens in the Heat regular season, there's always the possibility of just some Miami voodoo happening in a playoff matchup, in a play-in tournament, whatever. So I'll never forget to mention them. They've made 2 finals in the Jimmy era. They got very close to making another one. The Orlando and the Sixers, look, the Magic are well-equipped to annoy the hell out of whoever they get in a playoff matchup. But as of right now, I still think they just need more shooting. They were 22nd in offense this year. KCP will help. Maybe Suggs has another jump. Obviously, we all love Paolo. And we'll see where Franz's shot is at. So yeah, I don't know what this whole thing was. Basically, Philly's really good. They've got a shot at it. Feels like I say this every single year with Philly. But yeah, they had a good offseason. So that's it.